And we are live. What's up, guys? We finally made it back. I'm here with the great Humberto. Since the last time I saw you, we went to. Oh, we got double audio here.
You do?
All right. So last time I spoke to you guys was right before we went to Turning Point, and then Christmas break. So it's been a minute, but on Christmas Day, we get this crazy thing where all of a sudden everybody's fighting. I mean, like they've been trying to make Republicans fight for a couple of weeks now, almost a month, and then boom, all of a sudden everybody starts freaking out about this H-1B visa thing. And I've been talking with Humberto a lot, and I'm trying to decide if this is like a giant, super effective psyop, or if there's like actually a good amount of people who are legitimately racist out there, because I'm seeing crazy racist stuff online. So Humberto, first of all, thanks for joining us tonight. What's up?
Thank you, Brandon, for having me.
Yeah, it's always an honor.
I mean, you already said it. I think it's a big retcon. It's a psyop, and even though I'm not happy about it. I think it was very precise. It was a masterful move from people that are enemies of the Trump administration.
But like, what, they have a giant bot farm that's like, I mean, I guess working with AI to be effective on a level it's never been effective on before. Because I'm looking at these things and like the most extreme comments that are, straight up saying, "Oh, like only white people should be able to work in America." Like that's the shit that's getting the most likes and the most retweets. So I mean, I have a tough time believing that that's like the consensus on X. So
Well, but Brandon, let's break it down. Okay, we can blame it on racists and bots and coordinated attacks and everything. I actually think it's a splitting point in the MAGA base. I think they found the pain point, all right, and they went full speed ahead.
but the consensus before the election, like, I mean, every single person was saying, yeah, no problem with immigration as long as it's legal. So, I mean, I totally agree that there's like flaws and problems with this thing, but it's like such a crazy thing for everybody to be worked up by. I mean, it's 500,000
But
people who are working people here who aren't even here permanently out of 165 million workers in the country.
but don't you think that like we have no problem with immigration, whatever legal immigration is good? Do you think there was like a wink wink type of situation when that was going on?
What do you mean?
That
Like conservatives were just saying, like going along with it just to seem moderate. Like,
and to win the election, Brandon. Like I don't know. I'm not leaving anything on the table.
well, here's the thing, though. I mean, these people are arguing like, oh, we should prioritize American workers over, I guess people from India for tech stuff because they're Americans. But then, like, even if they're not as good at the job as they are, but why should we be doing that with something where there's a shortage in the industry? Like I keep hearing people say that people with a STEM degree from America are having a hard time finding a job. That's not true. It's like the lowest unemployment rate for a degree. So like, it's like, is it about prioritize American workers or keeping certain people out of here?
I think American workers have been getting the short end of the stick for a while, Brandon. And I think there's a lot of people that are they're not that first of all are not racist, people from all colors and everything, um, that don't like what's going on. You know,
Yeah, but so that's not a like, this is such a drop in the bucket thing. Though, like, yeah, American workers have been getting the short end of the stick, but that's because of manufacturing jobs getting sent overseas. It's not because of a couple 100,000 specialized workers.
have you ever been to the Google campus in Palo Alto? I mean, San
No, but it
Francisco.
looks lovely. I've actually never even been to California before.
You never been to California?
No.
I've been to tech companies, and if you look around, um, they're very diverse. Um, and I think some people may, from all walks of life, colors, they may feel left out from this tech bubble and this American dream. what went wrong that we don't have qualified people to fill in this wonderful, 100 plus $1,000 jobs?
Well, quite honestly, it's because like there's a disgusting, gross lack of ambition amongst not everybody, but a lot of people in America. I mean, like I'm saying this because I see it firsthand. Like, I mean, say I run into 10 people in a given day, like at least 3 out of those 10 people have a sickening lack of ambition where I want to like flip out on them. Like they are just literally coasting through life. And it's like a attitude of like entitlement and just contentment, which that's not like that's where you got to respect the immigrant hustle. I mean, I read a book called The Hypomanic Edge, which talks about like certain people who are just like driven in a different type of way. And he says that the reason that America always bounces back so fast from economic crashes is because it's a nation of immigrants who are inherent risk takers, who are people that are just like starving for success. But there's a real lack of that here today. And not only that, but like I think a lot of this falls on the parents too, with like there's letting their kid go to college, not necessarily knowing what degree they want to major in, and then letting them switch their degrees a bunch of times. And then like we only have 20% of all our graduates graduating in STEM, which is like it's like a national crisis, the degree to which we need STEM workers.
All right, Brandon. Let's break that down. Do you think greed has a lot to do with that?
No, I think ignorance. What do you mean greed? How's that greed? Like greed would be what like the Indian families are doing. Like I mean, but like in a good way, where they're saying like, okay, there's this industry that's desperate for workers, so we're gonna just drill it into our kids' head. Like, hey, you need to major in STEM. You're gonna obsess about this from age 12 to 18, and then you're gonna do everything in your power to get into the best possible school for this, and you're gonna make $150,000 when you graduate. But with American kids, it's like, oh yeah, babe, you could major in graphic design. Oh, you don't like graphic design anymore? Okay, babe, you could major in liberal arts. Oh, you don't like that anymore? Okay, you could major in social sciences. And they change their degree 3 times when they're in college, and then end up making 40 grand a year when they graduate.
Well, okay, let's break it down further, Brandon.
Okay.
I'm talking about greed because you have all these universities that they have billions and billions of dollars in endowments. All right?
Well, one second, I want to read the chat real quick. So Sam says definitely a Psyop. Gen X says I'm wrong, unless he's talking about you. Gen X, tell me what either me or Humberto's wrong about. LMG says it's a wild world if animals could talk. Okay. And then Mr. Code Common Do, I think that's his name, said, what's your major? My major was national security because I have a patriotic streak. I mean, I thought that the best way to this is embarrassing. But what?
But I don't think you do, Brandon.
You only have a patriotic streak in me?
No, you're too quick to throw your people under the bus.
All right, but so answer me this. Like if you had a son that you deeply cared about, but he had a like serious lack of ambition, would you be okay with that?
I wouldn't be okay with that. But
and that's how I feel about my fellow Americans. There's a disgusting lack of ambition amongst so many Americans.
Right,
and I don't understand it, but that's the case. It's true.
No, but Brandon, come on. Let me talk. Okay. If I saw a lack of ambition in my kid, I wouldn't go find 2 or 3 more kids that are more ambitious. I will try to help my kid build a career or find something he likes to do or something.
Can I expand the analogy? Can I build on that analogy?
Yeah.
All right. So you got little Humberto here. He's 12 years old or whatever, like, or I would say 16, so it's legal. So you entrust him to operate the machine at the factory that you own, and he just like isn't capable of doing it. You can't take your eyes off him. You're worried he's gonna put his hand in the machine or fuck something up. And then you got little Jorge or like Shabib or whatever or something, who's just like ready to go crush it. He'll work harder. He's reliable. Like at that given moment in time, are you gonna take hours out of your day to try your best to get your son up to Shabib's level, or like you're just gonna say like, okay, like at this moment in time, I need to put Shabib or Jorge into this spot?
Okay, what's my priority? Keep on building a family business or maximize profits? What do I want to do? I want to maximize
Yeah,
profits forever.
it's necessary to maximize profits in order to maintain the business. So yeah.
You can maintain it at a level if profits if family goes over profits,
Say that again.
like it depends on your priorities, Brandon. If family goes on top of profits, yeah, you try to help him fight his way. But if profits goes over family, yeah, bring Jorge
Should be.
and should be in.
I think he's from India.
All right,
Um,
that's not an Indian name, Brandon.
give me one.
I can't think.
Exactly. That's why should be
Okay,
felt right.
Raj.
Yeah, yeah. Raj is a safe bet. All right, Raj and Jorge. So, but dude, like imagine you have a massive loan, like high interest rates, the debt collectors are knocking on your door, like you don't have time to fuck around. You're not like operating at in flow state yet with your business. Like you're still in the phase where you're trying to get the thing going off the ground. Like you're not going to just entrust your son who's not capable of doing the job right away, and you're not able to take time and resources away from what you need to do to train him up. Like you're going to put somebody in there who's hungrier and ready to go.
If I'm maximizing for keeping the business alive.
Yeah, which like we're not running a daycare here; we're running a country.
Well, but does it matter if the country does well if the people from your country are underemployed? They're having a hard time getting into universities. They're having a hard time with inflation. They're having a hard time finding a house. I don't know, Brendan.
But those are all problems that are very separate from what we're talking about. Like, I talk about all the time. The housing problem is the easiest problem in the world to fix. Like starter homes are $250,000 over what they should be because we're building 10% of the starter homes we used to build. That's an easy problem to solve. I don't know why Trump hasn't spoken about it, but all we need to do is incentivize home builders, make it so that they could actually make any bit of a profit by building a small house. Because right now, like you literally can't build a small house without operating at a loss. So we just need to change the circumstances, even if we need to subsidize it to put that industry on the right track. Because right now they're only building $1 million homes. Let me explain myself for my national security degree quick. So, because Mr. Code Commando is coming after me. So, yeah, I majored in national security. I don't think that was a good major to choose. And like, I shit on myself all the time for that. Like, I'm not going to sit here and defend that. Like, I probably could have not gone to high school, or excuse me, not gone to college and still did what I at first intended to do when I was in college. But yeah, I was planning to work for the CIA up until about my junior year, where I got red pilled because Trump started running. I was liking what he was saying, didn't really know shit about politics at the time. But what he was saying resonated with me, and like everything that he said, I was like, oh yeah, like that's a great point. Nobody else has said things like that. So loved Trump, started expressing that in the classroom, and my freaking teachers who were my teachers were basically the deep state. So I had one professor who worked for the State Department, one who worked for the CIA, one who worked for like the NSA, like the whole deep state committee. And like, dude, they would literally give me bad grades if I spoke positively about Trump. So, and like, they were basically like regurgitating what MSNBC would say. So that put me on the course to basically, by the time I was done with school, I had no interest in working for the government. I went to the private sector and, kind of learned a bunch of shit that I could apply to something else for 2 years, and then got into media. So yeah, Commando, I'm not proud of the fact that I just chose a major because it was interesting to me. Like, I mean, if you're trying to put yourself in a good position right now, either go STEM in college, go into sales right out of high school, or go into the trades, because like all those things, well, aside from sales, but like trade and STEM, there's like a massive shortage of workers. So, naturally, those are the things that are going to pay more. Like you can start your own business in both those things and crush it. Humberto, what do you think?
That you chose the wrong
Well,
career.
it's like, I mean, I don't deeply regret it, but yeah, no, it wasn't the right choice at the time.
You just said that you deeply regretted it.
No, I didn't.
You said it like
No, I said it was the wrong choice. I said it wasn't a smart choice to like just
All right.
But I knew it was like the only thing that would keep me in college because I don't know, like college is so stupid, dude. I literally learned more about national security in my first 3 months out of college than I did for like 6 years in college.
Oh, it wouldn't be a good business if they told you all the national security and national security school, right?
I mean, it'd be a good business if they I don't even think like the purpose of it is to put our government or our country in a better position. So maybe they are serving the exact purpose that they intend to serve. But yeah, like oh god, I could tell stories all day about shit that they tried to push. But no, dude, like so what makes somebody an American that you want to have here? Like if you have somebody who's simply born here, total piece of shit, or somebody who is watching from far away, like I don't know, make it the Middle East, make it South America, make it Canada, whatever, make it Europe, whatever, who badly wants to get to America, loves everything about it, hates everything about their country, and gets here after like years and years of trying, instantly starts working, working a ton of hours per week while the other dudes, doing the bare minimum. Like, what is it that make like seriously just being born here, winning the sperm lottery, like makes you a better American than somebody who actually loves the place? Like, keep in mind too, like there's like patriotism's at an all-time low. Like you've seen those charts before that showed how much of baby boomers love America or are proud to be American versus how much of Gen Z does.
I mean, it is true, Brandon. But well, let's go back to the main point. Like, what's the difference between all these people that you're talking about? This hardworking, top of the line migrants that can come in, save our industries. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
um, what's the difference between them and the average American population? There's two things. There's two things that are very different.
Okay, let's hear it.
No, come on. Try to guess them. Two things that everyone goes through or everyone is exposed to that has a lot of weight when it comes to like drive, patriotism, life goals. What is it, Brendan? Tell me the two things.
Religion.
No,
Two things that immigrants have.
everybody's exposed to this. Everybody.
It's two things that American citizens and immigrants are both exposed to that make them different.
Two different ones. I mean, the immigrants are exposed to one set of it, and then the Americans are exposed to another set of it. I bet someone in the chat is gonna guess it first.
Guys, if you could think of this, let me know. He's stumping me here.
All right, like I'm just gonna go right ahead. The two
Yeah.
things are media, and education. Those two things are unescapable in America, and those are the things that are broken.
Media and education. Yeah, no, that's a good point. 100%. Like
those two things,
because those two things equal culture.
Yeah, those two things, it's part of culture. There's a lot more to culture. But what I'm saying is media and education. If you see the Hollywood, the movies, you see the love interest. It's a loser that is sitting there. There's no heroes anymore. And the educational system, like all the way from preschool to like PhDs, they're being fed such bullshit. It's unbelievable, Brandon. And why are these people doing better? Because they're exposed to a better educational system, all right, and they still have heroes in their media. So why can't we grow up here and talk about the people that are in control of media and that are in control of education? Can we fix that? That's an easy fix.
Jody here actually said, who infiltrated those two things?
Communist.
Yeah, that's a safe way to say it.
Yeah, communist, Marxist.
Yeah. But no, I mean, we're trying to fight those problems, but like I always say, the solution to that shit is for normal people to run for Congress and local government, but we don't get a whole lot of normal people running for those things because that's how you move mountains is if you have people like us take 535 seats in Congress. But what percent of Congress do you think is just normal people who care about what's best for America? I'd say maybe less than 10%.
And you being generous.
Yeah, so I think that's the root of the problem because like once the people who want to do those things to things like education and media get their hands or get their control over people who make the laws, then it's hard to undo that entrenchment that they develop. And it's like, I don't know, it's like a tree that's deeply rooted into the ground.
I mean,
And I totally agree with what you're saying, but like I'm saying, just right now for the short term, like we don't have we don't have time to, like, people are saying, oh, why can't we train Americans to do some of these jobs that people who
Brandon,
have obsessed about it for their entire lives could do?
Brandon, this can be fixed in less than 4 years. Less than 4 years.
All right, so how?
First of all, I would go to Hollywood and raid it, put everyone in jail. Go like, you guys are done.
Terrorists.
This is over. You guys are domestic terrorists. You're destroying our youth. You're destroying our dreams. You're destroying our way of life. Um, and we're gonna start making movies. Like, you know how powerful movies are, Brandon.
Yeah, it's everything. That's how they try to push propaganda.
Some movies they made people enlist and go to Iraq, Brandon.
Yeah.
All right, that's how powerful they are, and we're constantly being fed trash. Where the guy that works hard is a fucking loser. All right, like, did you watch a 40-year-old virgin?
Oh yeah.
All right, and when and I think Vivek, I didn't like his tweet, but because I think it's just resentful. But the opposite happens. The guy who was
What percent of his tweet do you think was wrong?
all of it.
So we don't have the wrong priorities here?
It's not our place to start talking about that now.
Like me and you or him?
Him. He has a mandate for government efficiency. He's talking out of place on a, and matter of fact, after seeing his tweet, I think he might be control opposition.
Come on.
Yeah, I think because
all right, but if he was controlled opposition, I think he'd be advocating for the opposite of what he's doing, because like fixating on putting people or like getting people qualified for a position they're not qualified for, I think it is like puts us in a worse position or a more vulnerable position in the meantime.
No, because this is a non-winning situation. Nothing is gonna change with his tweet. Nothing's gonna change with whatever anyone says. All right. This needs to be. These are laws that need to be passed that will probably be stalled and stopped, and they're gonna be at the back of the line when making the laws. They need to pass the Congress. They need to pass Senate. They need to be signed into order by the president. So we're talking about making changes in this sense. It will take at least 3 or 4 years.
All right. So tell me exactly how this system should look in your opinion. The H-1B system, like, should it be gone? Should it be modified? Should it be expanded? Like, and it's funny, by the way, that like you're the one who's like in something like this, and I'm the one who's not in something like this, and then like I'm arguing for it and you're arguing against it.
I think the system as it works now. It works. You know, it's a merit-based visa, very special. Just the top of the line people get it in most cases. Some of the time, as any system, the system is abused.
It's stupid that's a lottery instead of merit-based, because like that's really the essence of why I'm arguing this way, because like I care so much more about like merit compared to being entitled to something. Like I hate when people just assume that they deserve something.
Brandon, you're misconstruing that. It's not fully, because it's not fully a lottery. Like, you need to have a job offer, you need to have a basic level of education and a bunch of qualifications. Just applying to it is not easy.
Right. So you qualify for it, but then it's a lottery amongst the qualified people.
Yeah, it's a lottery amongst the qualified, because you can't let every single person in, because then you don't have a country anymore.
Yeah, no, there should definitely be caps on it. It should be like the exact, like if there's a shortage of 100,000 STEM workers in America, like literally don't have the people who are qualified for it, then that's the number that should be accepted for people for those positions from other countries.
All right.
Right. So, and we should do it like literally from first to last in terms of the people that qualify for it.
You know, the thing is that if you have higher education, because it's part of the qualification, that's why I have, you know, an advanced degree. All right. Because this was my plan all along, to come here, because it's the freaking greatest country on the planet. Like, I will take a bullet for it. All right.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
see, and that's why I like you more than a lot of people who were born here.
But I know I'm an outsider, Brandon.
What's up?
I know I will never be American, and I'm a foreigner. Like, I very bought into the project, but I'm still a foreigner. You know.
So you don't think once somebody gains citizenship that makes them American? Like you think there's a striking difference between somebody who was born here versus somebody who works their ass off to get citizenship? Like I think one of those two people earned it far more than the other person did. Like it's like being born rich and making yourself rich. Like a lot more work and I think a lot more respect goes into one over the other. And
Oh, I absolutely respect them as long as a balance is kept. You know, I think countries they have a native population. They're the backbone of what the country means. You know, you can see England, you can see Canada, how the things are developing there with like the excess migrant. Germany's a disaster. So
yeah, because they didn't have a limit on. And like, yeah, I totally disagree with the AI advisor or whatever said. Like when he said we should uncap it, that's insane. That should never happen. But then, like, what I was struck by is that people are coming out saying like there should be zero people coming from other countries to work American jobs, which I think is retarded because there's phenoms out there who are great at what they do, and like a lot of founders of these powerhouse companies are foreigners because
I agree, but this
So
country.
why are people saying that?
Because the thing is, this is a stupid argument. This is a very stupid argument from a very stupid tweet, very stupid, out of place. I don't think. Okay, let's play. Uh, five moves forward. All right.
Okay.
What do you think was the purpose of Vivek posting that tweet?
I mean, I interpreted that as if, like, say you had a girlfriend who had put on a few pounds over the last 8 months, and like, yes, you want her to change, like, for your own good.
No.
Like, I think it's like that, where like he's like calling out shit that's not heading in a good direction.
No, Brandon. Okay, I just if you guys go to my Twitter or your Twitter because you retweeted it, I made a like I put a poll out of how many times should you wear white pants a week.
I've been doing a lot lately. I went from like once to twice.
You're wearing white pants are out of control, Brandon. They're out of control. I made a poll there. All right, and my objective, my outcome, it was busting your balls. All right.
Yeah.
Because I love busting your balls. I know you love white pants, and I love busting your balls. So what do you think? Yeah. What do you think his expected outcome was for that tweet? You think he's delusional enough to think he has a fan base that will listen to him? Was it addressed at someone? It was very general. It didn't propose any solutions. It
kind of did. He basically said that we have the wrong hero making machine, which we talk about all the time. He said that we glorify the wrong people in media, which is exactly what you said.
I did, but he's not getting. Okay. What was his proposed solution?
For parents to be more strict about what the kids do with their free time, like more studying, less watching TV, less being on electronics, less aimlessly hanging out with friends.
Wouldn't that be better received?
What if he said that?
Yeah, instead of like putting down.
He did, like, and I'm not saying it was the perfect tweet. Like he didn't phrase it perfectly for people to receive it, but like I think the overall point was valid.
I see bad intentions on the tweet, Brandon. I think he was poking the bear on purpose. I know a bunch of guys that could be, you can take them out of Saved by the Bell, people that I love and respect. And I think he's putting American culture down, like if he wants to get the point across about parents being more strict, like I 100% behind him. I agree with that. Let's talk about that. If he wants to talk about the people that control the media and serve the American public trash, I will be 100% on board with that conversation. But having the solution, like trashing American culture for the last 20 years, and then not giving out any solutions, it has the markings of a psyop. It has the markings of someone that wants to steer the pot.
But if he wanted to steal it, why would he call out something that's preventing us from hitting our full potential? Because like I hate when potential's wasted, and we are definitely wasting our potential right now because of the habits that we formed. You don't think we are?
But Brendan, I'm talking about that tweet in particular. That
No, I know, but I'm saying that called out a problem.
but I think he went too general. He put 2 or 3 problems together. He put people down, and I don't like the way it came out. And I think he's power drunk, Brandon. I think he's power drunk.
He doesn't have that much power.
But I think in his head he's power drunk. He lost the humble, middle of the road guy appeal he had. Like that tweet was so pompous.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that
Do you think it was grandiose? Can you pull it up and can you read it?
his tweet, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Like people used to call these things fighting words. These are fighting words.
Let's do the analysis. You know how many views that thing has now? Take a guess.
Probably like 20, 30 million.
Yeah, on the first day.
All right,
It has
100.
It had 112 million when I looked at like 4 o'clock today. Why do you think that is?
Because it was very controversial. Like I got a lot of people mad. The thing is, okay, let's analyze it. Okay,
I almost have it. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm
you
almost
have it?
there. Almost.
Oh my god. Okay, outcomes. People from the nationalist right, they will be upset. All right.
Mm-hmm.
People from the libertarian right will love it. People from the neocon right will love it. Center, center right, center left, they wouldn't mind that tweet. And people from the left and the extreme left, they will use it as ammunition to destroy the MAGA base.
So you think it was like the perfect tweet to upset everybody in a different way?
Yeah. And I think that was crafted, and he might have been just silly, stupid when posting that. And I think someone, I worked these jobs before, Brandon. If I saw that tweet from my opponent, I will grab it and spread it immediately because of the potential that it has to get a lot of people mad.
Okay, so let's see. I got it up now. Phrasing. The reason the reason top tech companies often hire foreign-born and first-generation engineers over Native Americans isn't because of an innate American.
Pause. Let's go phrase by phrase. All right, that's such a dick opening. That is very inflammatory. Is that MAGA? Is it MAGA?
Is it MAGA?
Is it MAGA?
Let's see. The reason top tech companies often hire foreign-born and first-generation engineers over Native Americans isn't because of an innate IQ deficit or lazy wrong explanation. He's saying it's not because of a difference in IQ, though. Like if he said it was a different because of a difference in IQ, I think that'd be offensive. But like he's saying we have the potential to be just as good and better as the people who are getting those jobs.
But Brandon, who is he replying to? Who is he grandstanding to? What is the purpose? What did anyone ask him? Hey, Vivek, what's the reason people are not hiring an American?
Well, Indians were coming under
reason?
Because Elon blasted everybody with this tweet, and everybody was reacting to that, and then Vivek is Indian. The people were criticizing Indians because they get the vast majority of these visas, like 75% of them. So I think it wasn't like a complete coming out of left field to it's not like Hulk Hogan jumped in and like started tweeting about it.
But come on, that opening is that's grandstanding, Brandon.
So what if you were advising him, how would you have opened it differently?
I think I will approach it from the perspective of getting more Americans hired. Like, hey, if you are an American teenager, you still have 4 years. The tech industry has its door wide open. Make the right decisions. Stop watching TV. Stop playing Call of Duty. Go to the gym. So that's from a positive side. Like I would love this tweet to be about motivating young Americans instead of putting them down.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like advising them. I guess, yeah. Like I see what you're saying in terms of like
Advising who? Because the thing is, I went to communication school. All right, you have
okay.
messenger, and recipient of the message. Who's the recipient of the messenger? It's the people that were hate talking. Like is he clapping back at the people that were making nasty comments?
You want me to look at the comment section? So let's see.
No. Look at Elon's tweet that got all this fired up.
Elon's tweet.
What do you think was what was the tweet? Patient zero, tweet zero that got this whole thing started.
So it was a tweet from Mario Nafal saying how much of a shortage there is in AI, or excuse me, like STEM job applicants from America, and Elon kind of like doubled down on it and saying like, yeah, we need like to fix this problem yesterday. There's like hundreds of thousands of spots worth of a shortage. Like we need to like expand the people coming here from other countries because we're not getting it done ourselves. We don't have enough of these we don't have enough of these graduates. So my question is like where I do agree with you is like, why isn't the government just pounding this issue through people's heads right now, saying like, hey, like we'll help you subsidize this stuff, like colleges, like do what you need to do to have more seats in the classroom, make it more appealing, more enticing for kids to major in STEM. But I mean, like we see them pump all this like transgender studies into colleges and all this, like the amount of stupid shit they do in college research centers with government money. We could speak for 10 hours about that, but like they're just chilling and content with kids, like 20% of kids majoring in something that's critical to national security and that there's a massive shortage in, that's going to double, like it's going to grow at double the rate of like the openings for STEM stuff is going to grow at a rate of 10% over the next 10 years. Every other job combined, it's going to grow at a rate of 4%. So it's a gold mine. It's a gold rush for people who want to like two of my cousins are majoring in engineering, and their teachers tell them like, yeah, you're going to make 150,000 like the day you walk out that door and graduate. So like, why isn't that being drilled into American college kids' heads or American high school kids' heads? Like, I haven't heard anybody talk about it. Like, nobody's talked about, like, I've known STEM is probably like the way to go if you're going to go to college for a while now. But nobody's saying that in media. Nobody's saying that in schools.
Well, and they haven't been saying it for a while. But the thing is,
that's where they're fucking up.
But my approach.
But would they listen? Would kids listen?
Well, the thing is, who's talking to them, Brandon?
Not their parents. And that's why, like, I think a lot of this is on American parents too. Cause like, we can't just take all the blame, like, or leave them absent of blame, because, they're the ones who are supposed to like instill the cultural values and instill priorities into their kids. Like, we did an episode about Indian culture last year because Indians are crushing it, like obliterating everybody in America with the average income of Indian families. They make like 150,000 a year on average. Oh boy.
Disclaimer, they're crushing it in America.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So in America, Indians from India, not the ones who like the with the feathers and stuff, like Indians from India are making an average of 150,000 a year. The next highest is 109,000, and then after that, like they're all pretty close. But like German Americans are all the way down like 82,000. Italian Americans are like 85. So they're doing something right with their values.
Because the thing is that Germans are crushing it in Germany. All right, Italians are crushing it in
Germany.
Italy.
Looks like the Middle East right now.
That's a generalization. They still have some of the most valuable brands, some of the most active industrial sectors in Europe, in the Western world.
Yeah, it is the industrial base of Europe.
All right, that's industrial. So why, if you have it, your own culture, your own schnitzel, your own beer, why would you go to a foreign country if you can crush it at home? Why?
I mean, you would think if you know the principles and whatnot to crush it in any industry, or like if you know.
I think that's statistically bogus. All right.
No, it's been that way for like a decade. Indian Americans.
But the thing is, it's a number thing. Give me the number cap for the Indian visa.
It's 85,000.
All right. Give me a number cap for the German visa.
Ooh.
See. I kind of roughly know the number, but give me the actual number.
What is the visa limit for German immigrants? 50,000?
50,000 for Germans
Yeah.
and 85,000 for Indians.
Yeah. Well, no,
right,
it's
all
85,
right.
no. It's 85,000 for the H-1B things, and it just happens to be 75% Indians because they put a ton of emphasis into the STEM stuff. Like I said, 18 to 20% of our kids major in STEM.
No, but
like 34% of theirs major in STEM.
But Brandon, let's go down to the numbers. Okay, this is 85,000 total. 75% is Indian. India is the largest country in the planet. What's the population? 5 billion?
1.8.
1.8 billion?
Yeah.
Okay, what percentage is 85,000 of 1.8 billion?
The fraction, it's like like 0.1%.
That's too high.
Right. 0.01%.
It's still too high.
Yeah, like decimal points, basis points.
All right, so it's probably like 0.0001%.
Yes, and that's why I laugh when people are freaking out saying like, "Oh, like we're going to turn to the United States of India." Like chill out. It's like
All right, so
a couple 100,000 people
so
out.
85,000 people out of 1 billion. All right.
Yep.
Let's
Supposedly
say
the best of the best.
yeah, the same cap of 85,000. Let's say we have 85,000 Germans. All right.
Yeah.
That's a different percentage of their population.
Yeah.
So
What do they have, like 40 million there?
yeah, so those numbers that they're the number one population in the world is because they've been so heavily filtered compared to their general population. Because the thing is, imagine rich people, Brandon, rich people. Okay, the top 3%. I mean, the top 10% of highest earners, they're at best millionaires. All right.
You're saying because it's more competitive for the country of India to get citizenship in the U.S., they end up getting better people here than Germany would?
Yeah, if you find a guy that is top 20% rich, okay, he will make it into the millionaire, like low millionaire, maybe 1, 2, 3, 10 million, to his name.
Mm-hmm.
If you put it to the 1%, you start on like low billionaire turf. And if you put it to the 0.1%, you're talking about Forbes, okay? If you put to the 0.1, you're talking about top 10 Forbes.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so if I judged a country's population on their 0.0001%, it's not fair. Like that's a bogus number, Brandon.
But they wouldn't have people like the people at that 0.001% wouldn't even be qualified to come here or even succeed if they're here if they weren't putting time, energy, and resources into setting them up for success. Like there's a place called IIT, like it's the Institute of Indian Technology or something. It's like harder to get into than Yale and Harvard. Like they have a lower acceptance rate than Harvard is, I believe. And it's
Because
an
they have more
insane.
applicants, Brandon. I didn't think you understand statistics very well.
Well, the statistic that I do understand is that the vast majority of people in India major in STEM, like they make it their priority from the time they're 12 years old. And that works out well for them because that's a job that's in demand. But Americans don't follow that principle. I guess, just form an idea in their head of what they think they want to do when they grow up, but they don't look at what the market wants. They don't look at how much they're going to pay by doing that. They don't look at how much it's going to cost to go to that school. But like Indian Americans seem to have a very solid plan going into school. Like they know exactly what the market wants. They know what they want to do, and they lock in from the time they're 12. Americans don't do that shit, and they should. Like one of the saddest things in the world is wasted potential, and that's really what I'm saying here. Yeah, it'd be awesome if like we had a ton of highly skilled, motivated people in our country, and like I do think that's possible to obtain that again. But at this point in time, right now, I'd say a good 25-30% of people in America aren't sufficiently motivated, aren't sufficiently ambitious. You disagree with that?
I disagree.
All right. So what? Give me a number then. What percentage of America is adequately motivated?
I think over 60%, 70%.
So 6 out of every 10 people you meet are like get you fired up because of how motivated they are.
They don't need to get me fired up, but they're
Like they seem like they're on a mission to crush it in life.
because the thing is, you're judging their mission on, the classic liberal, profit and money. Like, I won't give names, but we're with a guy, um, you know, he has 3 kids. He looks reasonably well at his age. He has a wife that loves him. He loves his job, and I think he's crushing it. Like he's
Yeah.
not he's probably out of those stats of like the highest earning, people in the fucking country, but he's super happy, and I see him, and I go like, oh man, I wish that I wish in 10 years like I get to be like him, to have
Give me a hint of who you're talking about. Is it somebody who's very helpful to us a lot of the time?
yeah, I think he's crushing it. Like if
Well,
he's
it's funny that you say that because that person is on the side of the argument of the people who I'm defending. I believe that person is on a visa. If I'm thinking of the right person.
No, he's not.
Is
But
this person from South America?
no, I'm not that person.
I'm not thinking of the right person. Then give
But
me another hint.
but I think no, we won't discuss it. But I think there's a lot of people in this country that wake up early. They go do whatever they want to. They have to do.
Oh, somebody in the chat said you're a moron. By the way, Gatvo Maldo. Why is Humberto a moron? All right, go on. Sorry,
Ask him where he's from.
he heard you. All right, go on while he's was responding.
But I don't know, dude. Profit is not everything. You can't judge society on that.
All right, but like, no, yeah, it's not, but not everything. But like, what kind of thing is that for a business? Is it like, what if Pat just came in and just like, yeah, guys, don't worry, like we could spend more than we're like, bringing in this month. Profit isn't everything. Like that'd be ridiculous. So you can't act that way as a country. That's how we end up with a $36 trillion in debt. Yeah, profit kind of is everything for a country, just like a business.
Oh,
Because you can't do much without it.
I think.
Would you tell your kids that the profit isn't everything in life?
But the thing is, Brandon, and the other thing, this immediacy that they're requiring to fill up these jobs. We're going through a revolution of only the industrial revolution is a revolution, a technology like a revolution this size, right? The
Mhm.
AI revolution is going to be crazy. You think when people started making machines to automate everything, assembly lines and Ford Model Ts, you think they had the right people immediately?
No, but those people were starving and hungry to succeed in life and to like because I'm not saying that you have to be trying to get rich in order to be like adequately ambitious. I'm saying like somebody who goes to work early, like doesn't complain, like doesn't do any lazy shit at work, like is a competent, capable person that has a good attitude and that you could trust, like somebody who takes pride in taking care of their family. Like that's all I'm asking for. Like somebody who puts himself in a good position in life and is a net positive, like a contributor to society. But there's so many people out there that like are legit leeches to society that like want to collect a check from the government, that are proud to collect a check from the government and like act like they're getting away with something. But like they're the straight up leech to society, and society's worse off because of them. If you are in that situation and don't have to be, and you take pride in it, like you feel like you're like winning something, then like, you disgust me. And there's a lot of people like that.
There's a lot of people, but
That's why welfare pays out $1 trillion a year. Like I know there's some cases where people actually need it, like whether it's disability or things that are out of their control, and I'm sympathetic to that. But there is a lot of people who abuse that shit and don't need to be on it, and are on it and are proud to be on it, and that's disgusting.
but I think by no means that's the majority.
No, I didn't say it's a majority. I said it's a significant amount. Like around 25-30%. And there, I mean, even for people who aren't collecting a welfare check, like the people who like take pride in going into work late, slacking off at work, like feel like they get a victory when they cut corners and everything. Like you're not like a hungry, ambitious person. I don't think of somebody like that as a true patriotic American. Like I think of somebody that's like hungry to compete and make themselves better, make their family better, make their country better, make like their neighborhood better. Something as small as that. Like you could be ambitious on any level. Like even if you take pride in like having the cleanest house and most like tight knit family and the like nice traditions and everything. Like if you just like take pride in the things that you care about, then like that's a bare minimum thing to ask for there. But like there's like so many people that are just like fucking dead in the inside in terms of ambition and wanting to represent something. Like that we're like a 30% nation of couch potatoes. And we don't shame people enough for that. Like that's another thing. Like instead we do the opposite. We put up pictures of models who are fat because we're trying to make people feel included and not excluded. Like you know what I mean? Like what the fuck is that?
But I need to see the numbers. Like,
Of what? What are you
can
trying
you
to measure?
can you pull up the numbers for how many people depend solely on welfare in the United States?
I sure can.
Because I want to talk about the numbers. Because the thing is, like, I have such I esteem the American people in such high regard. And mind you, Brandon, I've been to 100, probably like 80 to 100 countries. All right.
Mhm.
I've been with people all over. And there's things here in America that I don't want them to change. Like the way you walk into an elevator and people say hi to you. Um, the,
But that's dwindling, and that's exactly what I'm saying. Like that, like that's something. If you walk around the '60s, that's much more vibrant and common than it is today. Like today, you like have people not even make eye contact with you. And it's
but
little things like that.
but I think it has more to do with the change, and this country has changed. I've been coming and going on and off since I was born. I spent my summers here in California. I went to school in California. I left. I came back again, and this is a whole different country. And I think the biggest changes don't have much to do with American people.
42 million Americans collect welfare.
How many of them solely depend on welfare?
I'm looking. Go on.
You know,
So why did it change? What are you saying change? So how many years was in between the before and after when you're saying there was a big change?
I think the backbone of this country is being diluted.
All right, so expand on that because I agree, but I think that we're looking at like two different things that's diluting the backbone.
Uh,
Because culture and traditions and pride in certain things, like pride in your family being a certain way, pride in having certain traditions, pride like literally just something as simple as like you and everybody in your family, you're in really good shape and you put a lot of effort into that. You cook healthy, you make a point to do a certain tradition like on the weekends or once a month or something. You make it a point to stay close together. You make it a point to, like positively encourage each other rather than like being a fractured family where everybody like stays in their own room and like one person's fat, one person, is like gothic or whatever. Like that, like that's what I'm talking about when I'm saying like national pride. Like, and there's people online saying like all this and white that shit. Like, I don't give a shit what color you're. Like, I care if you're a net positive or a net negative to society. And yes, like I like it's better if people assimilate. Like, we want people to assimilate rather than trying to bring their culture here. We want them to assimilate to our culture. But the best way to do that is for us to have a strong culture ourselves. But if we don't have a strong culture, then things get diluted. So I think the way to defend against having countries export their culture to us is by having a strong national culture ourselves.
but what is that culture, Brandon?
Close families, believing in God, having a close relationship with God, pride in your country. Like it's I wasn't even alive during the time, but like just seeing footage of how neighborhoods used to like shut down to have like a neighborhood barbecue where like everybody in the street was like friendly with each other. Like, people would look out for each other and everything. Um, you could leave your doors unlocked. Like the both parents didn't have to work, so like everybody was happy all the time. Like the kids didn't have to get shipped off to daycare, like shit like that. Like if we were able to collectively identify the key problems in society and agree on them and put pressure on our publicly elected officials, and we'd be a much more powerful force. But like we just get whipsawed around by all this stupid shit. Like that's another thing is when people say like, "Oh, I have no interest in politics." It's not a matter of being interested in politics. That's fucking critical to your life. Like if we're not collectively putting pressure on our publicly elected officials, and like how do we expect to have an outcome that we want?
I got in a big fight about that. I think it was like a week before the election. One of my dad's friends, who is an American citizen, I was like, "Hey, so do you vote already?" He's like, "No, I don't get involved in politics."
Oh my god, I would fight them. No, I
Yeah,
have people like that in my family too, and I flip out on them.
I did flip out on him. But the thing is, okay, Brandon, being super fair, don't you think there is a key elements to this society that makes it good?
Yeah.
Right? And this comes from a guy that ethnically is mostly German. All right, so I'm not Anglo-Saxon.
Yeah.
Um, but I think there's an Anglo-Saxon backbone to the society, or would you dispute that? And there's a Protestant backbone to the society.
So you're talking about what drives the culture?
Yeah.
So yeah, no, like I think that like morally Christianity is like the most moral and ethical of the religions. Like I kind of like I'm very close with God, but I don't like really think too much about the church aspect of it because I like to just be like one-on-one relationship with God. So I don't really like say the whole Christian Catholic thing, even though I was raised Catholic. But I could agree that Christianity is the most ethical and moral religion, and that creates a ethical and moral society when it's a Christian-based society.
All right. So
What do you think about that?
I believe that people that live with Christ, they're more moral, but that's my opinion. It's not a fact.
That people who live with Christ are more moral?
Yeah.
That's what I said. I said Christianity is the most moral religion, the most moral and ethical religion.
All right. And I think Protestants, they have elements that make a country work. You can see it, in England when it was working. You can see it in America when it was working.
Protestant's just an offshoot of Christianity, or an offshoot of the Catholic Church, or you're saying Protestant in a way that's synonymous with Christians?
They're different than Catholics. Catholics, they work differently.
Catholics and Christians they're pretty much the same.
It pains me because I'm a Catholic, but they're different, and
But small differences though, like if you're talking about like the backbone of a society, like what you think there's gonna be a striking difference between a Christian society and a Catholic society if like that was the dominating force in America?
Christians and Catholics are, Christians, Catholics are Christians. So
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Between a Protestant society and a Catholic society, we have proof that Protestant societies thrive.
Okay, so why is that then?
There's a certain approach to their work ethic and their values. Like even like me as a Catholic, if I had to build a country, I will put Protestants in power.
So why do you stay a Catholic instead? So when you say Protestant, just I'm following. You're like you mean Christian, right?
Here you will call them Christians, but they're Protestant.
Yeah. Okay. No, just so me, myself, and everybody's on the same page. So why is it that you stay Catholic if you think that Protestants do better with building a society?
Because that's the people that wrote the Constitution of the United States, Brandon, and it worked.
No, but I'm saying so. Like, why? Like, so you're Catholic. Why do you stay Catholic instead of getting rebaptized into Christianity if you say that Christians run a better society?
Because I think they're heretics.
But if they're heretics and they run a society, then like that's kind of conflicting.
It is conflicting, but I don't have to agree with myself, Brandon.
It sounds like a tormented situation going on in there. But what do you say the cultural differences are between Christians and Catholics then?
It comes
Like,
to
is one just more stuffy than the other?
It comes to work ethic, expansions.
So Catholics are lazy, is what you're saying?
I'm not saying that.
Because there's a lot of Italian Catholics and actually no, like every Italian, my family's Italian. They're all fucking hard workers, grind. But I guess there's some lazy Italians out there. But what do you think the percentile of like Catholics by race would be? Like mostly Italian, mostly Spanish. What else?
I think we should go back to the original mix: 70% Prost, 30% Catholic, and that's a mix. That's a
Wow.
magic mix that it worked here.
Let's see what it is right now. Keep going.
Because if you have only Protestants, their food will suck big time.
Yeah, that's funny. So yeah, what that would be like? What are Protestant countries? Germany.
Well, Germany is mostly Lutheran, like people that are religious, mostly
See,
atheists right now.
like, and that's an offshoot of Christianity too, right?
Yes.
Why are there so many offshoots? And these are all offshoots of Catholic, right?
No, yeah.
Yeah, because Catholic was first, then Protestants, are Christians, then where do Lutherans come in?
There was a guy called Martin Luther, and he had his gripes as with the
Yeah, no, I know the Martin Luther story.
yeah, and he
Oh,
started
shit.
his own thing. But
So
they
what's
bring
the difference between Lutherans and Protestants? And by the way, guys, if you have any religion questions of your own, you can find Humberto on Minnect.
yeah, but because the thing is, Protestant has a lot of denominations, and you have a lot of them. You have non-denomination, you have Quakers, you have
Too much, dude. And then you got Mormons. Like,
who are neither Protestant
and
nor
the funny thing to me is that
Catholic.
everybody thinks that like everybody's like so convinced that they're right. Like I think it's so overly complicated. I think you don't need to look any more past just like it's you and it's God and that's it.
I think Brandon, and we're going back to the argument. I think
We could argue about anything all day, every day, though. That's
we
why
can
you go
argue
down all
about
these
everything,
rabbit holes.
but I think this is all about balance, and it's about having the right elements for society, the right elements for work, and trying to strike a balance. Like you need some more exotic people, you know.
What do you mean by that?
I don't know, someone from Azerbaijan.
Huh?
Yeah, Azerbaijan. You know where the is it Azerbaijan? I don't know how to
Azerbaijan. Oh, Azerbaijan.
Azerbaijan.
You said I had no idea what the fuck you were saying.
I don't know. Like I never heard that country before, so I read it. Like there's a lot of
I thought
words.
I heard it for the first time like a year or two ago, and I thought it was a person. But then, like the way you said it, I definitely thought it was a person that you were talking about.
Really?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I, I don't know how to like. I read it for the first time. Like I knew it existed, but I read it this weekend because they had this plane crash. Bring in one or two of those guys. It makes a society rich and spicy. You know. I don't know what they do.
Wait, so I got the numbers for Christian Protestant versus Catholic. What you want to guess before I say it?
I think Protestant right now should be at like 70-ish%, and Catholic should be at 20-ish, unless we get invaded.
Wait, but so what percent of the country do you think is one or the other? Like, what percent of America do you think is one or the other right now?
I think it should be 70% Protestant.
You mean 70% Christian? Then between those two, it's some Christian, some Catholic, or some Protestant, some Catholic.
Oh, so you're going by Christian general.
You said to me before we need a 70-30 split of Protestant to Catholic ratio to have a good society. You made that claim, okay? So I looked up what percent of America is either Christian or Catholic, and then I said what percent, like I said, to split those two in percentages. So 67% of Americans identify as Christian. Within this group, 44% are Protestant and 22% are Catholic. And then 4% belong to stuff like Latter-day Saints and all that other extra stuff. And Jehovah's Witnesses are part of this too?
Yeah.
Well, I thought that was like its whole other different thing. Those are the people that like come to your door and say, like, have you heard the good news, right?
Yeah. And
I've never like I that's like what I think of when I think of them, but I've never inquired why they do that.
Well, next time we have one of those guys, we should bring him in and do a podcast.
Interview him.
Yeah, it'd be
they would be hyped, probably.
It'd be very interesting.
Spread the good news on a podcast.
That you think you'd be hyped?
Yeah, they want to tell everybody about the good news. But anyway, so why again, like, so you think the religion's the most important thing in terms of culture? I guess I could agree with that because, like, I think of religion as like a outline for morality. Like, not everybody has like a strong internal constitution where they could like think of what's right and wrong for themselves. So I think that religion's super helpful in that way.
Um,
Because I just have like undeniable faith in God. I've always had like a good feel for what's right and what's wrong. I do want to read the Bible though because I think it's interesting. But I get the whole um like being part of something aspect of religion, but I don't like the like divisiveness of it, and I don't like them telling you that you're going to be banished to hell if you don't think it the exact same way as them.
I don't think there's a lot of divisiveness, in at
In
least
religion, it's
in
like
the
the most divisive thing out there aside from politics, or it's probably actually it's more divisive than politics.
I don't think in the Christian religion it's very divisive. Like they're super open minded. They will let everyone live their life.
But they tell you you're going to hell if you don't accept Jesus as your Lord and
Oh no,
Savior.
that's just me.
That's what?
That's just me, Brandon. Because you
No,
know
it's not. I literally heard the pastor say that when I went to a mass. He said, "Remember, guys, if your friends out there who aren't Christian, if you don't save them, they're going to be banished to hell
well,
for all of eternity."
well, you're talking to me that I'm a religious zealot, and that pastor is probably on the same page. But the general sentiment of
I think that's inappropriate to say to people
how is it inappropriate? It's the truth.
because, like, you're saying if you call God a different name than Jesus, but like we all collectively believe in God, then like you're just telling people that saying a different name is going to be banish you to hell. Like, what if
It's,
you're born in the middle of nowhere and you never hear of like any of the things you're supposed to hear? You're gonna be
there is
banished
an
to hell for being born in the wrong place.
there is an exception for those people.
What's written in the fine print?
Yeah, no, it's actually written that people that never had access to the word, they have an exemption.
Okay. So, yeah, no, I've just never been comfortable with that. That like that they're that aggressive with telling you that like when you are and are not going to go to hell. But that's why I do my own thing. But I've never been atheist a day in my life. I've always been super close with God. And I out of all the like I said, out of all the religions, Christianity is most moral, most ethical, best to build the society around. I'll give you that.
It is. It's definitely the most moral, most ethical religion to build a society around. Like
Quite
that.
honestly, the biggest thing that's drawn me like closer to it than I was is the attack against it because have you seen the numbers of like the amount of people who went to Christian mass in the 70s versus today?
Well,
Went from like 70 to 40% in the last 50 years.
I think we've been talking a lot about Islamophobia, anti-Semitism. We've been talking a lot about, all the other anti this, anti that, and we never hear anyone complaining about Christianophobia. Like if you saw the open attack that the Christians had during the Olympics, that that's divisive, Brandon. Like it's an opportunity to bring people together. And you saw what happened. It was an embarrassment.
Which incident you're talking about the Last Supper thing?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, no, I like, and that's why Pat always says like one of the biggest enemies is tolerant Christians who just let themselves get walked all over.
Well, tolerance is not a Christian value, Brandon.
Well, they're not acting that way. Like they're
Um,
acting like it is a value.
well, some of them, but back to H1B,
Full
H1B.
circle, baby.
Um, I think everything within measure is
So is the religion thing the thing that scares you the most about this like fast tracking immigration here? It's like I know you said before that Mexico immigration scares you a little bit less because they're the same religion as us, but then Hinduism scares you a little bit more because they don't have the same religious values as us.
I mean more than that. If you see the if you see the average Mexican, you know, after a year here, they make a little money and they start acting like rednecks immediately.
Is that right?
Oh, dude, they buy their cowboy hat, they get their big pickup truck, and they start acting like rednecks immediately.
So they want to assimilate, you're saying?
Have you seen them, Brandon?
No, I haven't seen the cowboy Mexicans.
You never have you been to Texas? You lived
I
in
lived there
Texas,
for a
right?
year, but I was in Fort Worth. Is that the wrong place?
You never seen Tejanos.
Tejanos?
Yeah, that's why they call Texan Mexico. Texan
Oh,
Mexico.
Tex-Mex. Yeah, I know it's a big Tex-Mex place. Yeah,
Yeah,
obviously.
those guys, they come in and they assimilate.
Yeah, I know, but I didn't see him with the full year. Like that's actually sadly a dwindling thing in Texas. Maybe it's making a resurgence, but when I was there,
Oh, it's
less
huge
people
right now.
dressed up as like cowboys than I expected.
Oh man, maybe it's the wrong city, but those people, they love it.
So you don't feel like somebody like Vivek is? I mean, he was born here, but you don't feel like he's pretty on board with American culture in society
I felt like to when he was talking.
every time.
Whenever he talked about God, even though he fully believes in gods with an S, like I felt I was being
Oh, is
taken
that their
advantage
thing?
of. Yeah.
Do you know their thing enough to explain it?
What?
I'm gonna start calling you our religion consultant. Do you know Hinduism enough to like give a quick summary of it?
Man, it's not a quick summary. They have
Like
over
why do they have multiple gods?
they have thousands of deities. Like from it's very complicated. I don't I will need to like freshen up on my
So in terms of like cultural values and stuff, like what do they believe in terms of like what's right and wrong that drastically conflicts with us? You know any of that off the top of your head? Because I mean, like my point that I'm circling around them weaving to is that if like you're gonna have these strong opinions that they won't fit in or assimilate here, then like kind of what are you basing that off of aside from their religion's different? And I'm not saying that you're wrong, but I'm saying like what makes you have that gut feeling?
I think my point here is that, and I saw it in my own country, that importing people from low trust societies, you know what that is?
A low trust society. What's
Yeah,
that? Like
you
where the
know,
people just don't trust each other?
yeah. And for example, people that they have fences in the front lawn. That if they have a chance to steal something from you, they will do it. Places where you can't walk on the street without being mugged. You know what I mean? And this has no color. There's some former Soviet Union countries that I will never walk alone at night.
Yeah.
Um, uh, Importing them in masses is not a good idea. Like Chile,
No, I agree with that. I'm like,
yeah,
believe me, I'm not fucking advocating to advocate anybody here in masses. Like, I think we should deport the shit out of as many people who crossed here illegally as possible. Like, preferably all of them. But like, I not only do I not have a problem with taking super talented and smart people from other countries, I think it's in our best interest to like maintain supremacy to take the smartest people from other countries. Like India is actually pissed that they are investing time and energy into these people like at the school like IIT that's a powerhouse for STEM. They hate it when people that graduate from their top of their class run to America when we give them a visa. So the fact that they don't want those people to leave, like, isn't that a good sign that like we're getting the better end of the deal? That people that they want to keep are coming to us.
do they really want to keep them?
Yes. You don't think they want to keep somebody who's the top of their class, the best college in their country in a critical industry?
Um,
Where'd Einstein come from? Germany? I know you're thinking.
yes,
On paper, where'd he come from? Germany? Like the story, the official story, the official narrative, right?
uh, Einstein was a German citizen.
Yes. Okay. I know you're dying on the inside. So,
Actually, Austrian.
Austrian. Okay. So, do you think Austria was upset when Einstein left Austria and went to the United States?
I think it's the same situation as India. They don't have a say on stopping it.
No, I know they don't have a say, but I'm saying, like, do you think they're like shit? That sucks. That's like losing like our top wide receiver or our top quarterback if they couldn't afford to pay the contract. You know, like I feel like it's that type of situation.
That's why it's called brain drain.
Yeah,
brain drain.
yeah. And so do you want to be on the receiving end of where you're sucking the best brains out of another country, or do you want our best brains to be leaving the country? I think it would suck if our best brains were leaving the country.
It does suck,
but it's not happening to us, which is good. We're doing it to other people, which is good for us. It's bad for them, but like we're here, so we want that to happen. Like I want to be like picky as fuck to the degree of which like you're selecting a girlfriend or scouting a top prospect in the NFL draft. Like that's how I think we should approach immigration. Like we're picking college draft picks for the NFL draft. Like, and people like freaking Laura Loomer and Jack Posobiec and Steve Bannon suddenly have a problem with that. That's what's mind blowing to me is that like, I totally agree. Like that guy who said that we should uncap the visa program. That's fucking crazy. That should never happen. That'd be a disaster if we uncapped it because we don't need a uncontrolled influx of them coming in here. But what like the argument that we shouldn't take any smart genius people from other countries because we want only American workers, I think that's super ignorant and almost borderline racist.
I think it's stupid.
Right. To say that, no, we don't want the smartest person in your country. We'd rather have any of our people here working that job. Right. That's stupid.
But
let me play a quick Loomer clip while you gather that thought.
We need to have a conversation about is what is it going to mean for the future of our country, our national security, and the incoming Trump administration if we have a bunch of technocrats who are also essentially welfare queens because their companies are receiving government subsidies and they want to take over our defense industry. If you have a bunch of tech bros with billions of dollars and direct unfettered access to the vice president and the president of the United States, and then they are also, very cordial with our adversaries, as in China and Iran. We see that Elon Musk is having these meetings off the books with Iranian officials, with Chinese officials. What does that mean for us and the future of our constitutional republic?
Okay, hang on. Yeah.
All right, so we have a guy named Cedric Myers in the chat saying Loomer is 100% correct on this. So Cedric, please tell me why. So I mean, in addition to tell me why you think Loomer is 100% correct, tell me what your position is on like what this system should look like with the whole visa thing. Like, should it completely go away to zero? Should it be reformed to where like it's logical, where it's like not a lottery thing, where we actually are picking like a small amount of the best people to fill jobs that we need to fill here? Or like, obviously you're not going to be on the side of uncapping it. So yeah, like, do you want to completely go away or do you want to reform it? And then what's Loomer 100% correct about? Because I'm starting to think she's kind of fucking retarded. And Humberto, well, this guy's answer, what do you think?
Can I say something in her defense?
Yes. Cedric said the Tech Valley will be intellectually and influentially owned by India and China, and that is a security risk.
All right. In her defense, I met her at a debate in West Palm Beach, and she is a lovely person.
Okay, why?
Because we stayed for a little bit with her and Dave Smith, and
love Dave.
Dave I love Dave, and she's really nice,
So Cedric says Elon wants cheap labor. This is what keeps wages down due to cheap foreign labor that teaches or unskilled. So no, I strongly disagree. This is about cost of labor for Elon. Like, maybe at one point in time he cared a lot about the cost of labor, but like the way that he reacted, where you start flipping out on people about this thing, that's not a cost of labor thing. Like, you're not going to lose your mind and tell people to fuck off and say that you're going to go to war with them because you're upset about cost of labor, which, by the way, not that I have any level of deep trust in government or NGO studies, but like there's a pretty balanced amount of studies that show that the wage thing's not true versus there's some that say it is true. So I think that's a foggy thing. But I think Elon was triggered, like it hit a nerve because of like, what he was able to do with a program like this, not the exact one, but he was like in this situation where he was from another country trying to get here and got here on a visa and got an opportunity. So like the fact that he saw people online saying that no immigrant should ever get a visa probably triggered him. I don't think it's about cost. I mean, he's worth 500 trillion or he's worth $500 billion. So you think it's about cost of labor for him? He doesn't even have the highest amount. Bezos has like 5 to 6 times the amount of HB1 visa workers for him, and he hasn't said shit about this yet. So what you got, Humberto?
I mean, can two things be true at the same time, Brandon?
Yes. Like, I think this is an example of that. I think that we need to reform the system because it's shitty in so many ways, but we do benefit from it. And there's abuse with it too. There's the labor thing, but we do benefit from talent.
And I think two things can be true at the same time. I do think it drives costs for employers down.
Hire foreign labor.
Yeah.
Well, there's regulations though where you need to pay. I know there's loopholes for it, but there's regulations and laws where you're supposed to pay them the same rate that the other person will be making.
But on the flip side, the people that are getting paid less, they have the tremendous opportunity to be here.
Mm-hmm.
So I think both things can be true at the same time, Brendan.
Yeah, no, I like it. That's why I think the stupidest people in this discussion right now are the people that say we should take 0 people on these visas into our country, and then people on the other side they're saying we should take as many as we possibly can by uncapping the thing. I think both those sides are idiotic, and I can't believe how many of those types of messages I'm seeing on Twitter. Like either there's a bot farm out there or there's a bunch of psychopaths. And if it's a bot farm, it's a very elaborate attack, like that's more advanced than any that we've ever seen. Because, like I said, the most racist tweets are getting the most attention right now. Like they're getting the most likes, they're getting the most retweets. I don't get it. Like I don't think there's that many racists out there. But like if it's not a bot farm, then like apparently there is a sleeping giant of racists.
I disagree with that hypothesis.
Tell me why.
Because I going back to the first point, I think this is a targeted attack from enemies of MAGA. I think that Vivek spoke out of place, out of line, out of time, not about his mandate,
Yeah.
And yeah,
if it is a coordinated attack, it was executed geniusly.
I think it's executed geniusly because I saw this tension.
But the origin of it was Nafal and Musk.
Well, I saw this tension building up
about this issue.
Yeah,
such a weird issue though. Like we're talking about 500,000 that are temporarily here versus 15 million who are illegally here, and we're fixating on the smaller number. That's the more productive people.
Because Brandon, if you study Marxism, there's things called dichotomies in the dialectics, all right?
Mm-hmm.
And those are the problems that Marxism loves, all right? They're two-sided problems, all right?
Yeah.
I give you an example. Eating meat, all right?
Yep.
They turn eating meat into something political, all right?
Right.
They turned meat eaters against vegans and vegans against meat eaters, all right?
Okay.
So they find these fractures on their enemies.
Like they find the nerves to press on.
And they're really good at, I don't know, identifying the problems and stepping on them.
Mm-hmm. No, I see what you're saying, and I don't disagree. Like my gut tells me that like this was a calculated thing, but I guess I need to like dig, like, because like I went down the rabbit hole of seeing like where this started the past few days. Like when I saw Loomer get kicked off Twitter, I like went back and back and back to see like the chain of tweets that spurred this whole thing into existence. And it looks like the farthest back I saw was Nafal saying how there's a shortage of STEM workers in the US. And then Elon emphatically agreed with it. And then somebody started talking about the American workers being shafted by the visa holders. But yeah, no, dude, I agree. So what percent of and I was looking at something interesting on Twitter before. So a lot of the shit talking Twitter accounts that are like, on the I guess far right side of this, they have accounts named stuff like American tech workers and shit, like generic stuff like that, right? And I clicked on a few of the accounts, and like these accounts were made in November of 2024, like several accounts made in the same month with like a similar type of vibe, like about American tech workers or like domestic tech, shit like that. So it's like I'm seeing a weird trend here that feels bot farmy.
Or Brandon, if it has the earmarks of an operation everywhere you look at it. Like Brandon, this is not an issue. This is not an issue that he can solve. This is not an issue.
Smart people are falling for it. Like here, like
you.
So, how smart do you think Charlie Kirk is?
Brandon,
what?
Because I agree to be on your podcast. We are falling for it.
No, like literally, the title of this video was the H-1B visa fight a giant psyop? That's the question today. And literally, one of my first like interactions on X about this topic was like guys, you're being played right now. And then so like from the first time I saw this, I'm like, okay, like something weird's happening. This isn't normal. So no, I never got played by it. But I asked about Charlie Kirk because I think he's one of the smartest guys out there, right? He's super smart. He does a lot of reading. Super impressive what he's done at such a young age. And I think he always has a pretty reasonable take on most things. I mean, he's like obviously got like the far right streak in him where he like, that's like the extreme right position on things. But like if he's falling for it, like I thought Jack Posobiec was smart. He's like a former naval intelligence officer. He's going like hardcore with the saying that no foreign workers should work in America. Like what the hell is that? So look what Kirk's saying.
A violation of our social contract. And it sounds good. Let's just let more H-1B workers in. But what about the 23-year-old that went to University of Washington and studied computer science at the UW Computer Science Department? Shouldn't he be given preference above someone who could do the work for far less? It is about priorities, and it's not about what Charlie Kirk wants. It's not about what other people want out there. And I have friends on both sides of this debate. It's very simple. It's what the American people wanted. And the American people overwhelmingly voted for less immigration and the prioritization of the American children and the American worker.
Yeah, so I don't see it as immigration. It's like you're basically patching a hole, buying yourself time, like which like we're not getting our shit together while we are patching that hole. Like, and ideally, if you're literally don't have enough people to fill these jobs, like get them from somewhere else and subsidize or incentivize the shit out of your population to get their asses into the STEM universities and get their STEM degrees. But I don't ever see any type of government initiatives doing that.
But Brandon, this can cause one split between Charlie Kirk and Jack Posobiec. All right? If the argument...
Like if they take different positions, you're saying?
Yeah, and let's say they take different positions, the argument gets heated enough, and they stop collaborating. Wouldn't that be a win?
For the left?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. But they're both smart guys, and like the fact that they're not seeing that something very weird is happening with the algorithms, with the activity, with the way that people are acting. Like I thought they were smarter than that, but they're like chomping on this thing.
Brandon, people fall on these traps all the time. This has trap written all over it. Not even President Trump can change this.
I know, he didn't even try to touch it. He just like said the quickest comment ever. He's like, yeah, I like the visas. I've always liked the visas. The visas are good.
But listen, he has no constitutional power to change this.
Yeah, he does. I'm pretty sure this system was put in by a president. Well, no, I'm positive about that. It was put in by George H.W. Bush.
But I don't know, Brandon. I do know that that this is not good. Not good at all.
Yeah, I hope we're getting to the tail end of it because I don't know. I'm seeing like a real ugly side of the Republican Party that I haven't seen in a long time. And the most unfortunate part is that it's like validating some degree of what like the hyperbole that like we felt liberals were saying for the last 4 years. Like when they say all their racist shit, like if there are there are real people out there that are confirmed accounts that are saying racist shit. So, I mean, like it's sad that they don't see that what they're doing is like undermining everything they fought for the last 4 years and like giving validation to the other side that looks like psychopaths most of the time. But I'm gonna finish this off by reading some comments and seeing what the dudes are saying. See if there's any questions.
But before we finish, Brandon,
okay.
Once I heard this coming up, I have a horse in this race. But at the same time, I felt, and I still do, I feel split on how I feel about this. I feel split inside myself, all right? And I think I'm a pretty good representation of the MAGA coalition.
Yeah.
Because it's not a party, it's a coalition. A coalition is people that think differently and come together.
Right.
So I knew since I saw H-1B trending on Twitter that this was going to be controversial, Brendan. So, and they managed to do it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And I think people just need to get wiser in terms of like how to not get manipulated. But let's see what the guys and gals are saying in here. God is real. He made all of us. Yeah, of course. Imagine you're right. It's the reset button. No doubt about it. Where are all the good comments? Is the root word migration? What? But forced migration is illegal immigration orchestrated by a side. Got it. Where's the guy I was arguing with? Reconnected programs of all community colleges that allow adults, learners without degrees to get STEM and other degrees. Uni transfer for free. The state with this is great success. All states need it. Yeah, I dig that. Anything to incentivize and help people to get these things and to make sure they're actually good at it. Like you don't want no shitty system. Diversity parallels low trust. Huh. That's pessimistic. Like I'm no diversity pusher, but like look at the military, for example. Like, so you think that statement, diversity parallels low trust, applies to the military? Like, I think the military is like the most like organically diverse place out there, and it's like somewhere where it's essential to trust the people that you're working with. So I don't know if that's true as a blanket statement. Where do all the birds and animals go? That which has been already, and that which has been already. Yeah, you're bugging in here with some wild comments.
Wild
comments. Well, I guess I sold everybody on what I was saying because I don't see a whole lot of people like who disagrees with what I'm saying about the H-1B thing so far. That's what I'm looking for in the chat. I see a lot of quotes and stuff that I don't see like how it fits into this. Although like I appreciate the engagement, but tell me like on a scale of 1 to 10, like how much you agree or how much you disagree. Because like I think that I have the undeniable right position on this. Right, Berto?
What can you state your position again?
So the perfect position to have on this is that like it's common sense that we want to have #1 draft picks come to our country. Like, the people who are the like Patrick Mahomes, Luka Doncic's, we want them to come here. We want like the people who are like Einstein, that level people. We want them to come to our country. Like, it's not a big number. They're like, those are 500,000 jobs that American workers could have. Like, yeah, our workforce is 165 million, bro. Relax. Like, it's like 0.03% of our workforce. Like, these people are making up for, and we literally don't have enough STEM graduates to fill the STEM need right now. Like, that's a fact. Like, I've heard people say, oh yeah, like my son got a computer science degree and he can't find a job, or like I'm sure maybe that's true, but I looked for stuff like that online. I've looked for percentages of STEM graduates who are unemployed, and it's like less than 2%. So like, if you get a STEM degree, you're probably walking into $150,000 a year job. Like, when I went to UNH, so the military industrial complex was like a 10-minute helicopter ride away from my college. And this is funny. So job fair day at our school, CEOs from the military industrial complex would come in and like recruit engineers from our school and like sign them like on the spot $140,000 contracts. So like, I don't know why people are seeing that and still majoring in graphic design or majoring in fucking liberal arts and shit. Like, like, not only does our country need you to major in STEM, but it's financially much wiser for you to do it too. So hold on, I'm going like in a weave here. So my common sense position is that, like, yeah, obviously we want smart, talented people from other countries, but the system's fucked up right now. It's not optimal. So we need to fix the things that people are complaining about, like potentially underpaying people. The lottery system should be a merit-based system. Everybody else is saying that. So, and then we should not uncap it, because that would be retarded. That would create a chaotic situation. So, yes, like, people get exploited by it, like, and sure, some American workers lose opportunities, but it's such a minuscule number of the total jobs in America. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Like, if you want to talk about like what has actually hurt American workers, it's like the exporting of manufacturing jobs. Like, that's something that I'll viciously fight for all day, every day. Is like, and like one of the biggest lies in economics is the notion of like exporting manufacturing and turning into a service-based economy was a good thing for us. Like, that was one of the most detrimental things to the American income that's ever happened to us. Maybe the most. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I still think that having the best of STEM is very limited.
Having the best in STEM is limited?
Yeah, I love food. I want the best chef. I love design.
Of course.
I want the best designer.
Right.
I want the best art. I want the best architect. I want the
movie
best
directors.
I want the best plumber. Like, there's no plumbers in this country. There's no electricians.
Exactly. Trade shortage, and we're telling kids to go to fucking college when we don't have any trade people left. Like, you could probably be an apprentice for 3 years and then, like, start your own plumber business and just become a millionaire because of how few plumbers there are.
But should we incentivize American people to go into trade jobs?
Yes.
And import the STEM jobs?
I think we should incentivize Americans to go into trades and STEM, because those are the things we need. Like, we should limit the shit out of fund. Like, we should like use the power that we have over colleges with the government grants and funding to try to coerce them to like limit classroom sizes of useless degrees, expand classroom sizes of important degrees that are critical to what our manufacturing base and what our national security needs to do. Like, that's not a difficult thing to do when like billions of dollars go to colleges and bullshit money. Like I said before, the stupidest things ever happen with government money given to college research centers. It's ridiculous, but it's a very easy thing to like build out the class, expand the classroom size of the important things: science, engineering, math, computers, and then cut the classroom size of stuff like obviously gender studies, fucking liberal arts, graphic design, like all the bullshit stuff that people end up making $40,000 a year with and have a hard time finding a job. Like chop all that way down. That's not a difficult thing to do.
Well, I think, first of all, graphic design is not a bullshit job.
I meant interior design.
I mean, like the valuation of a company can change tenfold with like a good graphic designer.
I meant interior design.
I mean, the thing is that there should be better tests. I think there's too many designers.
For graphic or interior?
Everything.
Well, that's the thing too. You have to like look at like what the market conditions are like for the thing that you're getting a degree for. Like if you see that there's more people in that sector than jobs available, then like fucking run away from that shit. Don't go into that field.
But then out of, I don't know, the 500 designers I met, people that I actually considered graphic designers, like I go like, okay, this guy's a graphic designer. It's not even 5%.
So you're saying like a lot of them are like fake graphic designers because they can't do like what you really need to do to be a good graphic designer.
They don't have vision. Like I think I probably hired on the neighborhood of like 30 or 40 graphic designers over my career, and I can call 3 actual graphic designers out of
Wow.
out of the 500 jobs I hired for and commission things. Like I can only call graphic designers 3 or 4 of them.
Yikes, that's sad. Well, on that note, guys, we have 1 day left of December. I am 200 subscribers away from hitting 100,000. So that's going to be cool. I'm trying to do it before December ends. So I think we have like 26 hours left to do that. Anybody on there still watching, hit that subscribe button. Help me get to 100,000. We're so close. And if you disagree with anything I want to say and want to talk about more in detail, you could connect with me on Minnect. We can have our own debate or whatever. And yeah, just trying to enlighten, entertain, and empower future and current leaders of America and the world. So let me know if I did that. Let me know if I didn't do that, because just trying to crush it here one day at a time and get better. So love you guys. Thank you for watching. I will see you tomorrow night. Peace.
Auf Wiedersehen.
What's up?
Goodbye.
Yes. Goodbye, Humberto. Thank you for joining us.